our part as a team is wherever we fall in the playoffs, we have to be Division One or Division Two. We still have to bring our team and play to our standard and compete at the highest.
You're a D1 future soccer player. You're going to Washington State. But now you're playing flag football. Have you fallen in love with flag football after all these years of soccer, and maybe flag football is your future? Your thoughts on that? And if you're in love with flag football, why?
I did fell in love with flag football. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't like football like at all, so soccer made me play. But then once I started playing, I found a family, I found my sister, and it's just like never ending support that I get from this new game, especially. It's a real.
My last
But
question.
like the aspect of sorry.
No, go ahead. Finish. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the aspect of soccer, I do that is my number one aspect, but basketball is right away.
My last question for you is the goal. So I know last year, and I think this year as well, more league champions. All you could win really last year was league. Now this year, there's a chance to go get that CIF championship ring. So is that something you guys talk about a lot? Or is it kind of mum's the word, we don't want to jinx it? What's the approach for the Jackrabbits as they head into the postseason with one playoff win under your belt already?
Yeah, we definitely go into the playoffs with that confidence. Like our goal is to get that win. We don't want to come out or we're going to come out and whenever.
Coach, last question. You have Redondo Union, who's 13-2 on Saturday. How much of an obstacle in the second round of the playoffs is Redondo Union?
They actually started, I think, before they had the team program. They've been actively involved in flag football, and they like coach. This is a great coach. Has a program. I'm sure he have his girls ready. They're going to be ready. It's a tough game. Nothing's going to be easy. I think it's going to be a battle. We got a lot of work when we participated in the Rams League of Champions. We had some great games with two schools, and just looking forward to this round two. I mean, there's no easy games in the playoffs.
Well, Coach, we wish you the best of luck. Congratulations on the #1 seed. Congratulations on winning the opener in the tournament. And I wanted to let you know, we looked it up. Ken Golan in Broome, South Carolina, had 9 interceptions in a boys' game, but 7 against Lakewood is pretty good. So congratulations on that. You guys have a great night. Good luck on Saturday, and we'll talk to you down the road.
You too.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for having us.
Coach shot class act. I got to tell you, Aya's numbers are eye-popping.
Yeah, they are. I mean, I'd imagine if Long Beach Poly can do it and run the table per se, I'm sure she'll be CIF Player of the Year nominee for sure. Great player. The 7 interceptions in one game is wild to me. I can't even imagine how she did that.
How about Ken's 9 in South Carolina?
Yeah, that must have been like an 8-man football game or something.
Yeah.
There's no way that you could grab 9 in a game in an 11-man. I wouldn't be a believer of it.
Yeah, well, I'm just reading it.
No, I'm not saying it's
wrong. I don't know if it's true.
Yeah.
I really don't know. We just read the copy that it's brought to us. All right, let's get to tackle football for the guys. The key games from last week. We'll start with Mater Dei. Jay, Sarah, always great games in the Trinity League. Mater Dei continues to perform well. They win the game handily. Dash Byerly again with another fine effort. 3 touchdown aerials for the Monarchs.
Yeah, he hasn't thrown a touchdown this year, and this is a Washington commit. And this is hasn't thrown an interception this year. My apologies. It just tells you how efficient he is, and in my opinion, I think it's impressive. It tells you how mature he is with all the athletes and weapons he has. You'd think, hey, let it fly, right? Take more chances. I got a great defense behind me. No mistakes. Picks defenses apart. Really impressive season for him.
Him and Josh Allen have that in common. Josh Allen hasn't thrown a pick for the Bills this year. Dash Byerly, no interceptions for Mater Dei. St. John Bosco in a game that was at SoFi Stadium gets by Servite 27-7. Koa is the name to remember.
Yeah, great freshman Koa. where's his? Oh, Koa Malaulu. That's what it is. I wanted to get that right.
I gave you that.
Yeah, you did, and I butchered it. Yeah, Koa Malaulu. Yeah, listen, only a freshman, and it's his job. You know, Matai Fuiava left, and he's at Kahuku, so now it's Koa's job to have basically for the next 4 years, and that's what Jason Negro said, that he's got the keys to the ship. I think he meant keys to the car, but that was the quote, the keys to the ship. And these are 2 touchdowns he threw at SoFi Stadium in a win over Servite. He's only thrown 1 interception in his freshman season, and he's got 12 touchdowns to his name. So this is a very talented quarterback for the Braves.
Yeah, the future is very good for St. John Bosco, but the present isn't too shabby either. They're still undefeated. Mission Viejo over San Clemente. San Clemente's got a good football team, but Mission Viejo continues to roll.
Well, there was a little bit of revenge on the minds of Mission Viejo Diablos. Why? Because last year they lost the league title game, per se, against San Clemente. They knocked them off, and that actually put San Clemente up in the Division I, and they had to play Mater Dei, and that was the end of their season. So it knocked Mission Viejo down to Division II, and they went on to win everything. That's not going to be the case this year. Mission Viejo is going to be likely the 3 seed in the Division I playoffs.
Yeah, you know I have the finals already set. Mission Viejo against Corona Centennial. And Corona Centennial continues to roll. They get by a good Murrieta Valley team. Husan Longstreet in that one was sharp, 251 yards. And a touchdown to find quarterback of the Huskies.
Wouldn't it be great to see a all public school Division I final? I think that would be a breath of fresh air, and so I'm not exactly mad at that prognostication there. However, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think anyone's going to beat Mater Dei, but yeah, listen, Corona Centennial's on a roll, 6 games in a row. Like you said, Husan Longstreet playing like the 5-star quarterback that we know, and so we will see what happens down the road.
Hart was the favorite in many polls to win the Foothill League this year, but Valencia is still there, and Valencia took them to the woodshed, 44-14. Brady Bredhauer had a huge game, 3 touchdown passes for the winners.
Yeah, Valencia, that's Larry Muir right there. That's a guy that's been doing it a long time, and I think at the end of the day, sometimes just the old football team around the block that's been dominating the league for so long is always hard to knock off, despite what kind of troubles they may be having. So Hart's on the uptick with a new coach, and that's great, but Valencia still the team to beat in the Foothill League.
Yeah, Nick Seymour. Seymour had 2 touchdown receptions as well for that very fine Vikings football team. How about La Habra? They get by a very good Green Lutheran team. Green Lutheran had won 3 in a row, but that's 7 straight wins for the top team there. La Habra.
Yeah, La Habra is a team that kind of almost gets forgotten. Very, very good, and a quality win over Green Lutheran. And, you know, kind of the same thing with the Valencia Hart thing, Randy. La Habra's been a good football team and solid for a long time. Green Lutheran, kind of a pop-up program a little bit. So, again, when you get these teams that come out of nowhere and they're really good, when they go up against these teams that have been doing it for a long time, there's a pedigree there that sometimes you run up against, and the team with the pedigree ends up winning. And I think in that case, it was Valencia and La Habra that did that.
Let's check out the top 10 presented by Tarek Fatal at SB Live. We start, obviously, with Mater Dei. They're still unbeaten, 7-0. St. John Bosco, number 2 for now. Things could change this week, as we all know. We'll talk about the Mater Dei Bosco game a little bit later. But I like your rankings.
Yeah, thank you. I think right now these would be if the playoffs were to start tomorrow, it would be an 8-team bracket. Now here's what happens: if Sierra Canyon, which I believe is 9 in the Cal Preps rankings, if they run the table and win the Mission League, they'll go from 8 to like 10 or maybe 12 teams. If Sierra Canyon falters at the end of the year and loses to Gardena Serra, I think they create a obvious division, and it will just be 8 teams. So really, really interesting to see what happens online. These are my like expert rankings per se. They're a little different from the Cal Prep rankings, but will be interesting to see how it pans out in the next 2 weeks.
Any love for Inglewood at 8-0?
Yeah, not for Division I. I mean, love in general, yes, of course. They'll be a Division II contender for sure. They could lose the next 2 games. They'll be in Division II regardless. So that will be a tough out for any team. I think for them, they want to continue to win, make sure that you get a home game that opening round.
And Oaks Christian, who's in the top 10 still at 9, has really come on.
So they've come on, and I tell you what, what's funny, you bring that up, I think it's very likely if both teams win this week, Oaks and Simi Valley, it'll be a winner-takes-all Week 10 matchup at Oaks Christian, Jim Bankert and Simi Valley back in Westlake Village against Oaks Christian. Winner takes all for the Marmani League. And, man, what a great game, and that'll be on Friday night.
Yeah,
that could potentially be next Friday, excuse me.
Yeah, that's a showcase game. All right, let's get into the L.A. City section. Always some interesting affairs. This past week had great games, 2 or 3 of them really at the top of the docket. Now this one, San Pedro 34, Banning 33 at the Coliseum. They made a miraculous stop on a 2-point conversion to preserve the victory.
Yeah, this Marine League, you know, we've been tracking this league for a lot of different reasons, and I would like to say that it's because of all the football talent. As you see here, the goal line stop, basically, I believe it was a 2-point conversion. They stop it, boom, San Pedro wins the game at the Coliseum. Pretty epic moment for those kids. But I bring up the Marine League because I'd love to be talking more about the football and the talent and the wins and the losses, but really the headliner in that league right now is everyone boycotting against Narbonne. And so Narbonne has yet to play a football game since September 27th, and that ain't going to change, Randy. They're not going to play this week against Gardena, and they will not play next week against Carson. So we'll see how it goes. However, they are going to have to play each other in the playoffs.
How about Venice knocking off Palisades?
This was a stunner.
45-44. I know you've been high on Pali all season long, but Venice is really a terrific program. 5 ties, 4 lead changes, all those points scored in the fourth quarter. From a spectator standpoint, this game was as good as any this year in the city section.
If I'm not mistaken, Palisades scored a late touchdown and then had a chance to win it or something, and it didn't pan out, or maybe a ball went incomplete.
No, I can tell you.
Yeah, tell me.
Okay, they missed the 2-point conversion to take the lead. Then they got the onside kickback, had an opportunity for a field goal and missed. So they had 2 tries to try to win.
There you go. Thank you, Randy. Yeah, I know that it was close, and they actually had a chance to win the thing, and they didn't. The Dolphins are very good. I wonder if that loss might have knocked them out of the open division playoffs, Randy. So we will see. However, Venice needs to still win, I think, 2 games. I think they still need to win out to be the Western League champion. So that league is not tied up by any means.
I would agree with you there. How about El Camino Real? We'll have them on TV tomorrow against Cleveland. They got by Granada Hills 7-6. They could have won it bigger. They had 2 touchdowns called back. Jason Zabalik, the Chargers Coach of the Week. Congratulations to Jason. We'll have him on our air tomorrow night when we talk prior to the game when they're at Cleveland in Reseda. And again, we'll be on the air at 7 o'clock with that one. But this is a breakthrough victory for the Royals.
Honestly, when I first saw it on the screen, I thought it was a typo. I'm like, why do we have a baseball score up? Hey, listen. Early on, I'm gonna shoot it straight. I thought ECR didn't have a chance. They might go winless. I mean, it was looking bleak. And I know you called those games early in the year, and it was they didn't score, right? A point the first 3 games of the year, maybe 4 games of the year, and then they've shown signs of getting better. And I will also be honest, that's a sign of good coaching, getting those kids to continue to play, and always a good sign of a program is when you're seeing teams get better. So good for ECR and good for Jason Sabal.
Yeah, El Camino is now 3-5. They'll play Cleveland and Reseda. Good running football team. Cleveland is 4-4. That should be an entertaining football game. And again, 7 o'clock tomorrow night on our air. All right, let's have our Max Preps top 10. We throw these out every week in the city section. Number 1, Narbonne still.
Yeah,
they're not playing, but they're number 1.
They're going to have to just sit up there. They're going to get those forfeit victories. They're going to be the number 1 seed come playoff time. And right now, if the playoffs were to start tomorrow, according to Cal Preps, which is very similar to these Max Preps because I think they're actually identical. If the playoffs were to start tomorrow, you have Narbonne versus Dorsey, and then this next round would be Narbonne versus a Marine League team. So it's going to happen, and it's going to be juicy and drama, the whole 9. I'm looking forward to it, if I'm being honest, so we'll see.
Yeah, there'll be some bad blood in some of those football games.
Yes,
There's no question about that. Top performances from a week ago. Let's start with a guy who had a tremendous game. Esses, running back, Tustin, 293 yards, a couple touchdowns in the win over El Medina. Trey had a huge game, the running back at South Pasadena. Trey Frecking, 273 yards, 3 touchdowns in the victory over Monroe. Journey Tonga, who's been a guest on our program for Losinger, having a wonderful year, so no surprise with his big game in the victory over Culver City. Taylor Lee, quarterback, nice work, 442 yards, 6 touchdowns in the win over normally a very good Camarillo Scorpion team. and Dash Fafita 19 tackles in the loss to Olu.
Yeah, you got some good names there on that first graphic. That was pretty good, Randy. Never seen names like that on one screen. Listen, the best performances are going to be notable when you do them late in the year, right, Randy? When games matter, league play, vying for a league championship, week 8, week 9, everyone's a little banged up, everyone's a little bit tired, and you find a way to rush for 200 yards or 300 yards, or you throw 4 touchdowns, or Dash Fafita 19 tackles. I mean, geez, what an outstanding game. That's when you're going to remember these notable performances.
Key games. Let's start. Mater Dei, St. John Bosco. Mater Dei is the host.
I've got some numbers, if you don't mind. This will be in the last 8 seasons, these teams have played twice 6 times. And so, listen, however, I don't think that they're going to play twice this year. And that goes to the point that you have. I don't know if St. John Bosco is going to make it to the Division I final for them to have a rematch. I find them to be more susceptible to a loss deep in the postseason against a Centennial or a Mission Viejo. So this Trinity League matchup could be the one time they play. St. John Bosco won it last year. Mater Dei ended up winning the CIF final. Of the 6 matchups when they've played twice, only one time has a team won the league matchup and the championship. They always trade. Whoever wins the league game always end up losing in the CIF final. So that's the trend in this rivalry.
The one caveat, and I think Mater Dei will win tomorrow because they're more experienced. If St. John Bosco wins tomorrow night, they'd have the higher seed in the playoffs, and their path might be a little easier. But I agree with you. I think Mater Dei is going to get potentially to the final. I think they could be in a position where they stumble as well. I think it's going to be tough for Negro's team to go all the way, but he's a great coach.
Yes,
He's got great talent. They're just young.
Yes, they are.
So let's not overlook Bosco, but I think tomorrow it's going to be Mater Dei. All right, our next game we want to talk about, Servite Orange Lutheran. These are 2 really good football teams with identical records.
The biggest takeaway I took away from SoFi Stadium when Servite played St. John Bosco, to a 10-point game, by the way. This is a 1-score game, like the whole game almost. If Leo Hannon, the Michigan State commit, gets healthy, and plays for Servite, Randy, that team is dangerous. When I saw Leo Hannon warm up, he didn't play. He's huge. He looks every bit the Division I the arm strength, everything. They literally almost can't pass the ball, yet they're still in these games with these Trinity League powers. So if Leo Hannon gets healthy, boy, the Friars are going to be tough to beat.
Any chance for Loyola against Sierra Canyon? Loyola's a sneaky good team.
They are. I think Loyola is going to be the team that finishes 3rd in that league and gets an automatic qualifier. The thing with Sierra Canyon, their games have been so lopsided, they're rested. Loyola's been grinding them out every week, and I think that's what's going to be the difference in Friday night's game.
Let me repeat the question on a different game. Edison at Mission Viejo.
Oh, man.
Any chance for Edison?
Yeah, probably not. Again, Mission Viejo is just a juggernaut. They score fast. They've got weapons all over the place. They have 2 quarterbacks. They've got 2 Division I wide receivers. They've got a running back that can play Division I football. They got Jaden Williams sacking people left, right, and center. He's got like 20-plus sacks on the year. I just don't see Edison having the athletes to run with Mission Viejo.
East LA Classic in the city. Garfield, Roosevelt. Always a great football game. This one is going to be played at SoFi Stadium. Cesar Reyes has nearly 1,300 yards and 18 touchdowns for Garfield. They're the favorite.
Yeah, this one's supposed to attract, 30,000, potentially 40,000. I think they already sold something like 14 or 15,000 tickets, and that was like a midweek report from Eric Sonheimer of the LA Times. So this is going to be a game that will be featured on a great Friday night in sports in Los Angeles. We can talk about that real quick. We got the East LA Classic. I think the Lakers are hosting. USC's hosting Rutgers at the Coliseum. You got number 1 versus number 2 high school football in Mater Dei versus Bosco. And I think I'm missing one. Oh, and the World Series is being played at Chavez Ravine all at the same time. What an epic night for Los Angeles.
Who would remember the World Series? It's just an afterthought. You know that. Quickly, Carson Banning.
Give me Carson.
Okay, how about King Drew Dorsey's an interesting one as well. As you see, the numbers on that one are 5-3 against 6-2.
That's a toss-up. When we were talking about that a little off air, I've always kind of had bigger expectations for King Drew, but maybe they're just really not as good as I thought. So Hey, let's see Dorsey win the thing. I'm kind of rooting for Stephon Johnson, so give me the Dons.
All right, Franklin and Eagle Rock. Always a battle in the Northern League.
Yeah, I gotta go Andy Moran. I gotta go Andy Moran and Eagle Rock. They're always game plan. They're always prepared. They're fundamental, and I think that's what's going to win that game. Whoever makes less mistakes.
Tough to pick that game.
It is.
That is really a tough
yeah, it is.
Girls volleyball. The playoffs are about to begin. CIF. The top teams are Sierra Canyon, Mater Dei. They'll play pool play, by the way.
Yeah, it's similar like a boys basketball open division. They get guaranteed amount of games. I think everyone's a state qualifier. It's a great tournament for girls volleyball. Stephanie Wigfall, if I'm being honest, one of my favorites. So I'm rooting for Sierra Canyon. I know I'm not really supposed to do that.
You're not supposed to root.
But hey, go Trailblazers in that sense. I think she's just a great coach, and they've actually got a pretty young team. It's not like they're senior heavy or anything, so they're going to stick around for quite a bit. And if I'm not mistaken, one of their star players is the daughter of Willie McGinnis.
It is.
And so they got a little star power too.
In the city, the top teams are Taft #1, Venice 2, 3 Palisades. Taft #1, not a great surprise. Upward mobility there for Venice. Normally it's Pally, but those are the 3 teams.
Yeah, it's kind of the usual suspects in the city. I don't find it any different. I think we will see like a Taft Palisade. It'll be like a charter school showdown somehow in the Open Division final.
Tark's always on the show, so we have to talk basketball. Nick Humeni, a Harvard Westlake terrific player going into his senior year, about 6'8", 6'9", can really shoot the pill. Commits to Duke, but that surprised some people.
It did. It surprised people locally. I think UCLA was the team everyone thought he would commit to. And, he did a really good job of keeping things pretty nip-tuck. His family, I know there was really no leaks. Duke it was. We were all kind of surprised by that because we thought we'd stick around. By the way, also UCLA, his teammate for the last 3 years, Trent Perry at UCLA. Christian Ori, also at UCLA as a walk-on. So you think, he'll go to UCLA, he'll be buddies. He'll room with his former teammates and play for Mick Cronin. Nope, he's going to Duke. He's going to play with the Boozer brothers. And I actually asked him at media day, what's your goal? And he said, I want to be in the NBA. I mean, that's what I want to do. That's the goal. And he thinks Duke will prepare him for that the best. And you know what? Hard to argue with that.
Yeah, but he probably won't play with Cooper Flagg, who's the best freshman
shot.
player in the country.
No
He's going to be in the NBA 1 year later. But it would be nice to see Nick play with Cooper, but that ain't going to happen. We wish Nick the best of luck. Also, you were at Media Day in the Mission League. What was that like for basketball?
Yeah, hey, it was great. I think it's an opportunity for those kids to get a kind of a next level experience. They answer some questions, some of them tougher than others. We ask kids, hey, a lot of transfers. Hey, why'd you transfer? I got to talk with Tyron Stokes, #1 recruit in the 2026 class. He's only a junior. He's at Notre Dame. He's been at Prolific Prep. You know what I asked him? I said, hey, man, what's it like to go to a regular high school? He loved it. He said, that's a kid that went to his first homecoming football game ever. Just this past week or 2 weeks ago. He's like, Prolific Prep, it was just all basketball. I didn't even get to kind of like hang out with my buddies. So I felt it refreshing to hear that from a top prospect that he's enjoying school.
And that game that you forgot about tomorrow night, that World Series game.
Never heard of it.
Garrett Cole, who's a fine pitcher for the Yankees, Orange Lutheran, Jack Flaherty going for the Dodgers, Harvard Westlake. So do you like the Trinity League guy or the Mission League guy?
Hey, not to mention Giancarlo Stanton and Judge. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on his first name.
Judge?
Aaron Judge. Those guys are California guys, man. All the best players on the
but Judge is from up north.
Yeah, but they're all. Hey, man, we got to claim the California guys when we can. Giancarlo Stanton, San Fernando Valley.
He was great.
He
still gives back to Notre Dame.
It's good to see the LA guys represent and at the highest stage.
He really does. And Giancarlo Stanton gives back to Notre Dame. He gets them stuff every year. That's it. We're done. Time's out. I hope you enjoyed the show. Fast moving tonight. Tark, good to see you. We'll see you next week.
Great to talk with Rob Schock. That was great.
Rob Schock, a great coach. Want to be calling. All right, wind up
Camera
and the
2.
pitch. Camera 2. We're going out on Tark's
3.
arm again. For Tark, I'm Randy. We'll talk to you next week right here on SoCal Prep Report. Let it go. Let it fly. There it goes. Does he have a strong arm?
One of these shows, I'm gonna try and hit the camera. I'll like kind of crinkle it up more.
That's valuable equipment.
No, it won't. It's not.